Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Amar. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Paris Blockchain Week Summit. So I want to thank you all much for being here. And I'm very, very honored to be able to interview today Pauline Adam-Kalfon. She's the crypto lead partner for PwC France and North Africa. And it's really such a pleasure to have you here, Pauline. You've been a very amazing partner to us, both personally and with PwC since the first edition. So I'm very, very glad to be able to ask you a few questions on the report you guys just released. So just a quick intro for you. So Pauline is basically leading 40 blockchain crypto experts covering various dimensions such as strategy, business transformation, technology, cybersecurity, data sciences, tax and legal, accounting and audit. The team is connected to the PwC global blockchain and crypto experts. And by the way, I think you guys just heard before, Henry Aslanian, the global head of crypto for PwC. So basically, Pauline, you help your clients to take advantage of the blockchain and crypto disrupting digital finance and digital business models, and also provide assurance through financial audits and crypto assets, as well as smart contracts. So my first question for you. You guys just released a report providing a unique and detailed and comprehensive overview of the blockchain ecosystem in France. I believe it's been based on a survey of more than 80 French companies, both pure players in the blockchain space and more conventional companies. So really, what are the main findings that you got in this amazing report?
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. And it's my pleasure to be here with you. So you want to find out how French companies are looking to blockchain technologies to build trust. Our reports reveal, first, exponential growth in the number of blockchain projects among conventional companies, and second, a sharp rise in investment in the technology, but of course, also certain obstacles. So 2020 marked a turning point for blockchain technologies in France, with 3 key pillars now in place to support large-scale adoption. First, the introduction of a regulatory framework in France and European level. Second, the take-up at the main players in various industries. Third, certain maturity to access convincing profitability analysis. And this last point is key for companies because the payback period is always a concern when investing in an emerging technology. So you know what? Executive committee involvement has become virtually essential in France, and this is really a key factor driving the success of blockchain projects in France, even though innovation departments still often champion the initiatives.
Thank you. And what are the type of French companies initiating blockchain and crypto projects?
So blockchain is no longer the preserve of a few insiders. More projects were initiated in 2020 in conventional companies in France than in blockchain pure players, and that's really a swift. So if we go back to the 2017-2019 years in France, this is when we saw the birth of the majority of blockchain projects, and they were carried out by pure players because it was almost 60% of them. And then the movement also caught on within large companies for which blockchain was not a core business. Although we noted that 40% of the blockchain projects that have been undertaken by those large companies were initiated before this period. Blockchain projects that have been launched by both pure players and conventional companies were mostly in the research and development phase in the 2017 and 2018 years. But many of these, they undoubtedly transitioned to commercial rollout phase in 2020. So 2020 is really a turning point because it's the first year in which the numbers of projects initiated by the non-specialist blockchain companies in France exceed the number launched by pure players.
Thank you. So what are the type of blockchains that French companies use in general? Did you see a trend? Are there some emerging?
Yes, okay. Yes. French companies, they now prefer public blockchain to consortium varieties, and that's also a swift because having said this, it doesn't mean that we must oppose the two. But if we go back to 2015 until 2018, consortium blockchains like private blockchains, they really were preferred by companies when the first blockchain projects were developed. And since 2019, they have been gradually losing grounds to public blockchains in France. So situation is slightly different between pure players and large, let's say, conventional companies. So for non-pure players companies, the consortium blockchains, they represented an average of 60% of the blockchain projects developed up to 2018. And you know what? They have been using just 33% of the project launched by those companies in 2019. And this relative decline has been benefited public blockchains, which today they account for more than 65% of the new projects in blockchain. On the pure player side, they have always preferred public blockchain, and they host 75% of their projects. Our surveys, they found that Bitcoins, Ethereum, but also Tezos were by far the three most popular public blockchain in France. And just to be noted that the Tezos blockchain has, by the way, gained certain recognition from public authorities in France.
Cool. So in this specific industry in France in 2020 for the blockchain initiatives, do you see a vertical or an industry that's really picking up?
Yes, we do. So in France, the financial services industries remain the most impacted by blockchain, and it accounts for 57% of the projects alone. And we had an example with Jean-Marc Stanger just before with Société Générale. So the projects that impact the project within the blockchain space in the financial sectors, they impact banking, insurance, investment funds, and the reasons for using blockchain technologies in this sector are varied. Although most of the projects, and to be precise, it's 53% of them, they appear to involve a change in the business model, which leads to either a disruption in the existing business model or potentially the creation of a new business. So that's first for the financial services. Retail and consumer goods, they take the second place and they account for 24% of such initiatives launched in French companies. Here, the aim of the projects are more to optimize existing processes as well as improving the customer experience and traceability.
So last year we had a chance to have Alex Mashinsky, who is the founder of Celsius Networks, so one of those leaders in the decentralized finance, DeFi, vertical, I would say. It's perhaps the main thing that happened in the crypto space in 2020. So there's a huge take-up, and I mean it's shaking some businesses. So how do French companies perceive this phenomenon? How are banks or insurance companies or funds are thinking through it? Credit companies.
Definitely, 2020 marks the advent of decentralized finance, DeFi, in France, and it's an area that is showing strong take-up among blockchain pure players. 70% of the French blockchain pure players, they plan to use DeFi application in the coming months. And the two major decentralized finance application that they see are peer-to-peer lending and automated market making.
Yeah, and I guess we have a few partner sponsors that are in this space, so guys, don't hesitate to go to the exhibition hall and meet the people on one-on-one videos. So funding is a challenge for all firms, right? And both pure players and conventional companies raises questions as to the importance given to blockchain technology in the business world and investor interest in this emerging industry. So what is the investment French companies, and how is the VC market, business angel market, and more institutional market for those projects? Is it changed since the previous version of PBWS, for example?
Yes. First, very interestingly, we saw that conventional companies, they have maintained their blockchain project budgets in France, despite the COVID-19 crisis, and it was quite a surprise. So allocating a blockchain budget and a specialist team, because the two come together, it has really become essential for companies to succeed in their blockchain journey. So concerning the budget, what we found out with this survey is that the average budget for micro and small businesses in France, and you know that in France, most of the company are small businesses. On average, the budget is around 100 kilo euro for blockchain. For larger companies, the average budget is around 1 million. So it's quite significant. With regard to the teams, what we saw is that in terms of organization, most of the companies, they have blockchain teams that are either within the strategy department, IT, or innovation, and it really depends on the organization of the technology assets. Generally, the blockchain teams are comprised in France between around five members when it's small businesses, and I'm of course talking about conventional companies, not pure players. So it's five people, 5 fellows in average, and for the large company, it's up to 20. And when we say 20, we're not talking about FTE. We're talking about people that are involved, because in those companies, you have, of course, the blockchain technology experts, but you also have regulatory experts. You can have also marketing, etc. So it's really a question of number and obviously not of FTE. So the current crisis really raises the question of whether blockchain budgets would be maintained going forward. And what we have seen is that the blockchain projects have proved extremely resilient during the pandemic, because 23% of companies that have developed a blockchain project are planning to reduce their blockchain budget. 23% of those companies compared to 46 that are intending to maintain it, and more. We have found out that 31% of those companies are planning to increase their blockchain budget between 500K to 1 million. So really, this is really interesting to see that blockchain is clearly resilient when it comes to the pandemic crisis.
Sure. If you begin to see a 7-figure project, it's the beginning of something, right? You're basically, let's say in a year from now, you see the market or next coming years. What are your perspective based on the study, and what also you're seeing, discussing with your clients on a day-to-day basis?
So very positive future perspective. What we have seen is that a growing numbers of companies plan to use blockchain technologies in the coming years. And in fact, we found out that 50% of the companies that have not yet developed a blockchain project, they plan to do so in the next 2 coming years, despite the current crisis. Transparency, certification are the most appreciated features of blockchain for their projects.
Okay, so my last 2 questions are going to be around diversity, right? It's amazing to have leaders like you, women leaders, and we want more. And I'm happy also to talk with, Kat from the French Tech, the director of French Tech, a little bit later. So can you give, okay, what's your perspective on women? Where there are not enough women in industry, and how can we attract more women in industry? Any tips, and how do you thinking about it? Involved capacity and stuff on a personal level.
Yes, personally I'm a member of the International Women's Forum, and I think it's very good to have those kind of initiatives to increase the diversity in the different industries. Clearly, there are few women, but there is a community of women within the blockchain. I just want to mention that within PwC France, within the blockchain lab, we have Clara Sock, for example, who is an amazing woman, and it's just an example. I think first, women, they should not be scared about this, because this is new. So I think everyone is in the same situation, and there are a variety of businesses that we can do around the blockchain. It's not only about IT, of course, it is about IT, but you have so many areas that are impacted by blockchain that For me, it's exactly like if we were saying, should a woman go for internet? Obviously, the answer is yes. So I would just, as an advice, I would say to all women, just try. There is space for everyone.
Thanks. So those were the advices for women, but now for the French blockchain tech scene in general, right? So we've come a long way. I think we made progress, but and the reason, as you know, of the first edition of Paris Blockchain Week Summit is basically when we're explaining on a day-to-day basis to the leaders in this world in the blockchain ecosystem that France is amazing because we have amazing engineers, we have an amazing ecosystem of investors and much better generation of entrepreneurs who are speaking very good English now. So basically, it's a very good and very large corporates, international corporates. So it's a good land to expand the blockchain projects, right? But what can we do more to attract these international projects? Because blockchain is global. We cannot think, it's blockchain in France. It's blockchain in general. But we have a nice role to play. So what would be your advices for the French ecosystem to be even more visible and active in space?
So first, as a French, I would say cocorico, because I fully agree we have an amazing ecosystem in France. First, I think we need to market it. We need to just speak about it. As we mentioned, we have the IT skills. We have academic, which is amazing around mathematics and cryptography. We have this regulatory framework. We have public authorities. We have startup. I mean, we have everything to succeed. But we need to market it. We need to have the world know what's happening in France. Second, we are very good, the French, at initiating some new disruptive things, and sometimes we're not so good when it comes to scaling it. So I think to scale, we need to be fully connected to the whole crypto community, and we need to think of how to succeed in the market, in the go-to-market. And for example, if I give the PwC France example, I think we have found a way to have our own experts within PwC France. But the wideness of the global PwC network is just amazing, and the fact that now we are connected, and usually the French, in French we would say le village gaulois, we think we should do everything together. But when we all work together with companies everywhere and skills everywhere in the world, we can do some amazing things.
I totally concur. So, Pauline, thank you very much, and
my pleasure.
PwC. Thank you very much for being with us. If everyone is interested to get a report, just contact PwC. They have an amazing booth, the exhibition hall, and Pauline and her colleague will be also available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Bye-bye.